Welcome everyone to the Into the Light broadcast. My name is Ashley. I'm a life coach and I am so excited to share this topic with you guys today. It's kind of an extension of what we talked about last week about, how to go within and allow more light into your bodies. So this week, I want to share about how to go forward whenever we are allowing more light into our bodies. And then what happens kind of in that process of whenever we're waiting for our outside reality to shift. So, first, say hi to Waffles here. Say hi, bud. He's been sitting on my lap all morning, so I figured why not let him join? um, so, anyway, so whenever we are allowing more light into our bodies and we are doing the internal work and we are clearing out and purging all of that darkness that we have within us, it can feel very weird in our physical bodies, in our reality. And I actually just went through this again a few weeks ago, which is kind of what prompted me to want to share this. So I did a major clearing, a major purge. I knew that I was ready for a new level of my life. I could feel it coming and things that I put up with before, things that we were doing before, it no longer resonated with me. People that I had talked to before, I no longer had a desire to talk to. I felt like there was no need, I couldn't even relate to them. Um, Things that we were putting up with, such as like not having the proper tools in the kitchen. We were struggling with certain things, because we just didn't buy the proper tools in the kitchen. That just suddenly wasn't okay anymore. My kids, like I was like, I'm not okay with them with certain things that they needed that I just wasn't getting before. Not like necessity, but things that would help not only them but myself, be able to help teach them better and guide them better. Um, so things like that. Also, like the food that I was eating, I had kind of allowed myself to eat some more sugar than I usually would have, and I could feel it. And I was like, I don't, my body's just totally rejecting it now. Like, so whenever we raise our vibration and we encounter a new level of our lives, this is what happens. And you just change. You feel very disconnected from your physical reality. And always, we have to remember that everything happens internally before it happens externally. So, in order for anything to change on the outside, it has to change on the inside first. So, it manifests on the inside so that it can manifest on the outside. It's not the other way around. So, as we're doing this, there can be that kind of lag time of, between when you change on the inside and then when you see the changes on the outside in your reality. So for me, I felt very, just like I felt like I was uprooted. And you can kind of feel like you are maybe being transplanted, like you no longer fit in that small pot that you had before. Like we have this pot, but this plant really wants to be in that pot. But there's that period of time between whenever you take it out and whenever you're planting it into the new pot, right? And as humans, it's not always as fast as if we were to just transplant a plant. So, because we have to get our footing down, we have to find our new level, and we have to call it into us. So, as we're doing that, we can feel very disconnected, very depressed, very angry, maybe because we're not resonating with our current reality anymore, and we're not quite sure maybe what the next steps are to change or to move forward in our lives. And that's okay. It's okay. So what do we do in that process? What do we do in that lag time? I get that question a lot. Well, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want. So what do I do while I'm waiting? And here's the thing: you just self-care. You take care and you nurture where you are. And when you nurture where you are, you're allowing more to come in because you are just taking your attention off of it. And you're not shoving it down. You're not, just ignoring it. You're just directing your attention towards something a little bit more positive, something that you can do. Maybe it's that oh, I want to start learning how to cook maybe healthier meals, or maybe I want to take a vacation, or maybe I just want to enjoy more time at home or with my kids, or whatever that may be, whatever brings you joy that you know of in that reality that you're currently in. Focus on that. Whenever you do that, the next level is going to present itself to you. You're going to get an energetic confirmation that it's coming, that you can feel the next level coming, and you get excited. So you go from feeling like stressed, angry, depressed to being excited about it. But you can't get to that excited point if you're still focusing on how you don't know what you want and you don't know what your new reality is going to look like. And if you're focused on being uncomfortable, there's going to be so many uncomfortable periods of time during our growth, and especially as we're upping our frequencies, and transitioning into the fifth dimension. There's going to be many of those levels of feeling that way and feeling disconnected. We are literally uprooting ourselves from the old world and rooting ourselves in the new world, and not everyone is doing it at the same time. So it's not like there's always someone that you can look at and be like, well, this is how they're doing it, so I have some guidance, right? So it's very important to focus on your self-care. Maybe you're doing a little bit more. For myself, whenever I'm still doing it, but I upped my self-care when I started to feel that just complete, like, I just felt like I don't belong here. I don't belong here. And we're in the process of finding a home in another state to move, and it was almost like we've been searching and searching and searching, and we were getting stressed out about it. And as I went through this process, a couple weeks ago, I just got to this point internally where I was like, I don't belong here. And I was mad and upset, and I was trying to force things, during some times, and I was like, oh, well, whatever. And then eventually, after I let go, and I was like, I just need to let go and back off from this topic and focus on joy and focus on what I can do right now to up level my life, and anchor in that new level of life. I got this overwhelming confirmation, even from my angels, that just be patient a little while longer. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's closer. It's closer. It's closer. Um, so whatever that may be in your life, whatever situation you're working on, up leveling and things of that nature, you just need to just be patient with yourself, and just focus on what you can do right now to bring you joy, to just take your mind off of it. Just take your mind off of it completely. It's not worth stressing over because it's not your job. It's not your job to know the how. Um, you are manifesting a whole new reality for yourself. And remember, we can't do this by first changing our outside world. Oftentimes, what people will do is they will change their outside world to fill a void that they have inside. And what happens is, say they'll go out, they'll buy a fancy car, they'll buy a big house, they'll do all these things, and there's nothing wrong with those things at all. It's the energy that's attached to them. So when we're doing those things to fulfill maybe an ego need, or a sense of loss, or just to fill our happiness void or something like that, oftentimes, number one, it doesn't last because it's not filling the real issue. Number two, it kind of just, a lot of times we kind of lose it all because there's nothing holding it on there. However, whenever we first clear ourselves, and we go ahead, Ruffles. Whenever we clear ourselves and we allow ourselves to start within, to purge, to let go of the darkness, to move forward, mentally first, and create that inner world of what we want. When we do that first, then as things come to us, we manifest things to us, we draw them to us. It might be the fancy car or the big house, or the relationship, or whatever. We're ready for it, and it's not filling an empty void. We're ready for it. We appreciate it, and it's just a whole new level of energy that you have attached to those things that's calling it into you. So it's really important to know that, because obviously you want these things for a reason. You have desires in your heart. You have um, all the things, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with anything that you desire. Anything on any level. Even if you want to own 5 houses, and you want whatever material things you want. A lot of people want to say, oh, it's bad to think that way. It's bad, but it's not. It's not. It's all about the energy that is attached to them and why you're doing it. And like I said, a lot of people do it out of ego. Well, I want to look good for my friends. I want to, I have to one up this person or that person, and that's never a way to number one sustain that level, right? So as people do that out of desperation, out of the ego, they're not sustaining that new level of life. It's a facade. And whenever it's a facade, that facade always crumbles. It always crumbles, which is why you see people who are sometimes young, go out and they get all the things, all the things that they think they want. And then, maybe 5, 10 years later, they're kind of just completely lost, completely, fell back to the bottom. I know quite a few people in my family that have done that, and it's all for show. But whenever we start within, we clear ourselves out. We clear ourselves out and we purge everything that is not us, right? Because it might, you don't go after things because you're worried about what someone else thinks, or maybe you're worried about what someone else is doing or whatever. You go after them because they're your true desires. So there's a lots of layers involved in that, in understanding that, do I want this, or do I want this because of something else, because of something someone else said, because of something else, did, whatever. What do I really want? So whenever we do that, then we're not filling voids. We are simply going after our true desires. And I feel like it's very important to know the difference and to navigate it, because it's easy to get caught up in the what everyone else is doing. Well, you're supposed to go out, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to buy a house, you're supposed to have kids, you're supposed to do this, that, and the blah, blah, blah. And you have this whole agenda that someone else has for you that you feel like is a society norm that you have to fill before fulfilling your own needs. How do I know that? I've done that. And I've worked with a lot of clients that have also done the same thing. So it's really interesting to see how, um, when you go down that route and you realize, I didn't want this, like, this is not me. And I was very grateful that I went through it at a very young age. We bought a house, we did all the things, we bought a very nice car, we did all these things, and we were not able to sustain ourselves. This was probably 8 years ago. We were not able to sustain ourselves because we were just doing it because we thought that that's what you're supposed to do, blah blah blah, all the things, right? Um, and then we kind of just lost everything. We kind of just backed off, started from the bottom again, and now we are creating a life with intention. We are attracting things to us, realizing who we want in our life, what we want in our life, not just having things just to have things, having things that are intentional, and because we want them. So again, as you are up leveling your life and you are going through that void, you are uprooted. Don't just grab onto anything. Okay, just make sure that you take some time, you chill, focus on self-care, and allow those things to come to you, and I promise you they will. It'll be very easy, and you are going to allow so much more light and high vibrations into your body by doing so, by enjoying those times of void. And oftentimes people get stuck in the feeling stuck. They feel like, well, I'm stuck because I was here and I want to be here and I'm in the middle and I don't know what to do, right? So they get in that stagnation, stuck mentality. And there's a difference between between actually being stagnant and waiting for your next steps. There's a big difference there. And whenever we are stagnant, we're not growing, we're not, thinking any differently, we're not internally doing any work. We're just kind of living with life, going through the motions, and not really have any intention on moving forward. That's what being stagnant is. It's completely different than whenever you are in a transformational period in your life and you are waiting for those next steps. You are waiting for, and I don't mean waiting as in, oh, I have to sit here and wait, and do nothing and just wait for someone to give me all the answers. I don't mean that at all. What I mean is that you are taking your attention off of it. You know what you want now. You know you want more light in your life, more love, more happiness, more joy. You're ready for those things and those more high vibrational frequencies. but you are taking your own high vibrational frequency and magnifying it by focusing on self care, by focusing on your own joy that you have now, so that those things can come to you. And that's not stagnation, not at all. That is, a period of transformation. You're in a period of transformation. You're in that, you're expanding, you're in the point between where you're uprooted from the first pot and you're being transplanted into the next one. It's coming. You don't know where all your roots are going to be in the soil yet, right? But you're finding them one at a time, which is kind of why it takes a little bit longer, right? Maybe you're finding new friends. Maybe you're finding um, a new way to eat. Maybe you're finding a new way to take care of yourself. Maybe you're finding a new place to live. All of those things, again, don't force them and don't, make them all happen at once. It's going to happen as it goes. Um, and it's an exciting period if you allow it to be. It's an exciting period to be able to take that time and up level your self care. Because again, what we do to ourselves magnifies on the outside. So you're going to speed up the process of getting to that next level of your life. Um, Much faster whenever you are self caring and taking care of yourself and putting those high vibrational frequencies into yourself. So that's my message for today. I hope that this was helpful for you guys. And of course, if you have more questions, if you want me to expand on anything, feel free to drop a comment below. And of course, if you are wanting to kind of start that purge process, make sure to check out my Let That Shit Go workbook. It's in the description box below. And I will chat with you guys all soon. Have a wonderful weekend.